Let's look at problem number 2 of this mole worksheet. If we look at the problem number 2, you see the blanks that are indicating to you that the problem isn't balanced. However, we could also notice that if we looked at the reactants compared to the products, I have 1 aluminum here, I have 2 over here, so I'm obviously not balanced. So to fix that, I'm going to put a 2 over here. My iron, I have 2 right here, but I only have 1 over here, so I need to put a 2 here. And I have 3 oxygens on this side, and I have 3 oxygens over here. So overall, we're balanced now. Once I've balanced the equation, now I can begin to write the mole ratios. So just like we did in problem 1, we're going to write how much of each we have, and we know it by the coefficient. So 2 aluminum and 2 moles of aluminum compared to 1 mole of iron 3 oxide. And once again, this can be used either way, so I'm just going to write this arrow, and this is simply a reminder to me that if I'm doing a problem, depending upon what I need, I can either write it this way or I can write it the other way. So now that we've compared the reactants to each other, we need to compare this reactant to the product. So the other ratios we have in place are 2 moles of aluminum to 2 moles of iron. And then lastly, we need to compare aluminum to aluminum oxide. So we have 2 moles of aluminum to 1 mole of aluminum oxide. Now it doesn't really matter if you abbreviate mole or write moles out. Now that we've compared aluminum to everything, we need to go ahead and compare the second reactant. So iron 3 oxide, we need to compare that to the products. So let me put my arrow here as a reminder. And then I'm going to start with 1 mole of iron 3 oxide. And notice I'm saying iron 3 because the charge on it is 3. I know because the oxygen has that 3. And there's 1 mole of this compared to 2 moles of iron. Okay. We also need to compare this reactant to the other product. So I have 1 mole of iron 3 oxide compared to 1 mole of aluminum oxide. Now, we're not done because we've compared the reactants to the reactants and the reactants to the products. We lastly have to compare the products to the products. So my final ratio in this problem is that I have 2 moles of iron compared to 1 mole of aluminum oxide. And now everything's set. From this point on, you should be able to do the remaining problem.